Sometimes I think many women have gotten so used to explaining themselves that silence feels uncomfortable. And I don't mean awkward silence at a party. I mean the silence after you said enough. An example of this might be you walk in late somewhere. You say, I'm sorry I'm late. And then there's this urge to keep talking, to explain the traffic, to explain what happened, to explain why it wasn't your fault. And I realized recently, sometimes I'm not actually giving information. Sometimes I'm trying to manage perceptions of other people. Because somewhere along the way, many of us learned that being misunderstood felt emotionally unsafe. So we learned to over explain, to soften, to over clarify, to make sure everyone understood our intentions. And honestly, that can become exhausting. For me, I notice this in really small moments. Sometimes, like bringing a dish to a gathering, someone says, oh, I don't like that. And I can feel this instinct rise up in me to start explaining it, why I made it that way, what ingredients I used, why other people usually like it. And recently, I caught myself wanting to just say, well, to each his own, and leave it at that. Not because I was angry, not because I was shutting down, but because I'm realizing I don't always have to manage everyone else's perceptions in order to feel safe. The hard part is that once you stop over explaining, there's space, and space can feel vulnerable. You say, I'm sorry, I'm late, and then silence. But maybe silence doesn't always mean danger. Maybe sometimes it just means you've already said enough. And I think rebuilding self trust sometimes begins in moments exactly like that. Tiny moments where you stop trying to manage everyone else's perception. Tiny moments where you stop over explaining. Tiny moments where you let your words stand on their own. Because maybe trust doesn't always look loud. Maybe sometimes it looks like not rushing to justify yourself. And I'm realizing sometimes over explaining isn't really about communication. Sometimes it's about fear. Fear that if we don't fully explain ourselves, people will misunderstand us, judge us, pull away from us. But I'm slowly learning that not every moment needs a defense. Sometimes you could simply let your words stand. And if someone misunderstands you occasionally, that doesn't automatically mean you did something wrong. I think a lot of us are rebuilding trust with ourselves right now, not in huge dramatic ways, but in tiny, quiet moments where we stop apologizing for existing, stop over clarifying, stop trying to earn understanding from everyone around us. And maybe that's what confidence actually starts to look like. Not becoming louder, just becoming a little less afraid of silence. If this resonates with you, I'd love to know if you've noticed this in yourself, if you could share in the comments. And if you're in the season of learning to trust yourself a little more deeply, you're not alone.